Hi, so this is where we're at, and I'm Rebecca Rankin.
And I'm Lana Ogilvy. And today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about soul crew and friendships and the importance of keeping that for your health.
For your health, for your well-being, and I think also sort of cultivating it is really important when you get into your 50s, because those are the people who are going to see you through all the really hard things.
So, like, I shared that story with you about my mom, who is in her 80s and has friends who, she's known some of them since school, not even some from university, but they all immigrated to Canada from Jamaica. And so she had, her ladies' lunch on the weekend, and these women meet up regularly. The group, they weren't all there. The other day, there was 5 or 6 of them, but it's an extended group of maybe 10, and some can make it, some can't make it. But literally, they're all in their 80s. They meet up regularly and have been doing this and known each other for 70 odd years, 60 something odd years. It's incredible. Amazing. They did a girls' trip to New York one time, and they went to the theater and, went out to restaurant. This was years ago when they were only in their 60s, but now they're in their 80s and they still do this. It's so great. Her crew is so tight after 60 something odd years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I hope I'm doing that with some people kicking it in my 80s.
Right. Well, since we last spoke, I actually went away for about 5 nights. So I hopped on a plane. I went down to Baja with some really amazing people. And one of my friends, actually, I've known her for quite a while. You know her from way back, Angela Perzow. Angela is not just a friend of ours, but she's also an entrepreneur. She's had a yoga line. She teaches yoga. She's a mom. She's got her fingers into development now, property development.
I mean, I've known her for years, from when we were both modeling. And certainly Angela is keeping her wild woman crew close to her heart.
Certified wild woman, I heard.
Angela is a certified wild woman.
You have no idea what's happening here. It's this. How much snow is coming down?
Oh, nice.
So we just broke through the clouds, and guess what's up here? Beautiful, beautiful sunshine.
See you guys. We're going skiing. We have asked you to join us because we want to talk about Soul Crew and the connections that you are really good at keeping. I'm going to call you the inspirational connector. Okay. And especially not easy as we get older.
The connection with my friends, I call them my gatekeepers. They've known me forever. Mm-hmm. So I always know that if I ever go off the rails one day or if something's happening, I have friends who know me from way back. And to this day, everyone says that I haven't changed at all. And my friends are that's my whole life, So for me to, some people don't speak to their friends anymore because they don't look the same way, and they're afraid to go out there and show themselves, at 55 years old. And then most women kind of retreat because they don't have, they don't feel as good about themselves as they used to. And with the thing that I've done is I kind of, and you've done and Lana's done, is you kept yourself looking awesome. So we go out and we go see our friends. Yeah, man. We go out and we see our friends. Thank you. I'm proud of how I look, I'm proud that I'm still look great for my age. And so do you, Rebecca, and so do you, Lana. We've all look respectful, and we're not all weird. And so I think that having that confidence as we get older is also what keeps the you wanting to Absolutely. Check in with your old friends. You know what I mean? And I have some friends who just don't go anywhere anymore.
That is a thing, the confidence level. The New Yorker just had this article about this female photographer who's just done a book of nudes of all older women over 50. And that confidence, I know what you mean. There's a lot of women, they get to they get older and they lose that confidence in themselves. And it's also societal, like you said, it's based on patriarchy. What does the value that's put on older women in the Western society?
I'm nodding my head saying there isn't any.
Lack thereof.
There isn't.
Yeah, there isn't any. I mean, maybe in France, I do have to say, much as there's so much, misogyny over there, but they do still value their older actresses, their older women. Their older women are still seen as vibrant and sexual, which is not something that happens in
No,
many
and
Western countries.
that's also dying away, because all those, white-haired guys who think that they could get away with groping you, I mean, they're all now at a different, at a different age, and they're dying. Those dinosaurs are dying. And as we see, women are starting to like get stronger. There's documentaries about how they got, shut out of the movie industry, how they got shut out of this industry. And if you go back in time, you'll see that more women are graduating from like Harvard than men are. Like, we're just taking over, but we don't go around beating our chest. We do things quietly with confidence, and we're not there for all the accolades. We're there because we want to be there. And it's not about the ego with women. It's all about a sense of whole, for the whole community, the whole planet.
You touched on something that I think is really important. You're talking about the strong, the independent. And I know my feeling when I'm around you is you kind of ooze, and you have this ability to bring out the strength in the women that are around you. And I don't know what that kind of magic potion is, but when you're teaching us yoga, when you're on the beach with us and you're like getting up and you're going surfing and you're like, let's go for a walk, let's go. And then you're organizing these dinners and connecting everybody that way. And, I know a couple of years ago, you took a bunch of people and you got them to go skiing in Europe. And, obviously you've got, friends who are, willing. Yeah. But I also think,
I got some pull.
Is that kind of intentional? Are you just doing that because that's something that we need? Because we're going to get into the science of all of that and how important these connections are, but you do it.
So I'm a truth teller. I don't lie. So that's where everything starts, is I'm always upfront and honest, and I don't hide things. I think that there's so many people hiding behind people and words and hiding. And I think that's bullshit. I want women to be the best they can be. I want women to believe that they're enough. I want women to stand up to men. I want women to it's so big for me that I get very emotional about how great we are.
Are the people that you've really kept in your kind of group, the people you've held close to your heart, does that amplify or kind of more feed you to spiritually, emotionally?
I think what binds all the people that I have around me is sport. We're we're extreme sports people. We're jumping out of helicopters. We're downhill racing. We're doing big things. And then we have these great big days. Like today, we're going out in a storm. We storm ski, and then we come back together and we have this unified approach to how we live our life, which is healthy and, active. We don't spend a lot of time in the house, neither do our kids. We don't do any screen time. We're outside living the life, living in nature. And so those are the components that bring me together with my friends, is the sport part. And then as far as the other stuff, I go on yoga retreats with other women. And that's where I fill my cup the most, as I go to cool places, and people who like to do yoga like I do, go to these retreats, and they're usually 99% women. And I'm not going there to make new friends, but I'm going there to be surrounded by good energy and maybe make a new friend. But it's really about this one heart when we go away together. And I feel so like I'm in my element that I don't have to worry about anybody else. I could just worry about me, and they're worried about themselves. But together we're having an experience. So those are, and of course I have some friends who are, a little bit more esoteric than others, but I think mainly my mind with my friends is sport, for sure.
Can you speak? So that's actually a really good point. But I think, a lot of the people who are listening are also maybe not able to do that on a daily basis. And what I find, I'm going to go back to my personal experience with you. What I love about going away with you and being around you and your energy is, even though I am not living that life that you're talking about in that inner core for you, I said this to you before, what I love is you're not too woo-woo about it, but you're also inspiring me. You're bringing me up, and you don't have training. You're not a life coach by profession, but you do inspire people to kind of become their best selves. So how do we do that? Lana and myself in big cities, a lot of people who are listening in big cities, how can we translate your energy, your ability to connect people and bring people together for people who maybe are a little bit more isolated, living in cities and doing that 9 to 5?
Okay. Well, I've been a big proponent of yoga my whole life, right? So you can do yoga wherever you are. I mean, I do it in airports when my flight's late. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a buck and practice now. You know what I mean? That's probably what saves me most of the time when I'm not having a good day, or, we all go through these, that's totally normal. Nobody's ever perfect and high all the time. And so sometimes when I'm feeling like a dis-ease in my soul and, just not comfortable with me sometimes, I get down on my mat, and within 20 minutes, I've changed everything. I've changed my whole energy, because we're made of energy. And so you need to do exactly what you don't want to do when you're not feeling right. You need to go out for that walk. Okay. You need to journal. You need to move your body, because I'm not somebody who can sit down very much and do the journaling thing, but I get my meditation through movement.
I do actually think, like what you said about, refinding who you are. I think that's one of the things that happens as you age, especially as a woman. Like we all have kids. My kids are a bit older than your guys' kids, so they moved on. Coco, she moved out. I had to move her out last week. She moved out, and then she moved back, and then I moved her out last week, and I was like, no. But when she first came back as an adult from LA, I was like, oh, when the fuck is she gonna leave? And then it's a year and a half later, and she's moving out. And I'm like, no, don't go. So then it's like, who are you now? You're not the single person after you get married. You're now half of something. Then you have the kids. So now you're a mom full time. Then, they move out, and my career's changed because it ended during COVID. So now who am I? And I think a lot of people struggle with that. And certainly having your close people, right? Your people to help remind you who you are, you need to keep that close. And I think what's happened for me is, especially since COVID, like people left town, my group kind of disbanded. So I've kind of, I'm trying to form a new group. That's hard at this age. And I do have friends, but my kind of core group for the last 5-6 years before COVID just kind of ended. And so what is that now? Like I'm struggling to figure out who I am with all of these changes.
It's like the old adage where you're sitting in the car and it's a snowstorm and you can't see 5 feet in front of you, but the fucking road is going straight and you keep driving. That's kind of what it is for women. You just got to sit in that driver's seat and just trust that everything is going to come your way. Like you have to. Because the minute you start putting all this like nervous energy and all that kind of stuff, then the things that are supposed to happen to you, you don't even see them because they're not good enough for you, or they didn't show up in the right way. So that's why I always say yes to everything that happens to me. You want to go here? Okay. You want to try this? Okay. Hey, you want to be on my show? Okay. Like, who knows what's going to happen, right? We just don't know. And then
hi, can you come on our show?
Yeah. It's kind of like you want to be playful in life. You want to work the magic in life because there's magic out there.
So you're super strong. Like I know that about you. Is there anything that you go, hey, so obviously you're married, you've got a husband, you can run things by him, but let's take it out of the family. Are there people that you go to?
I have 2 or 3 girls that I can call. And one of the girls is the one that I go travel with. She's the yoga teacher, Janet Corvino. And we have intense conversations when we're together. She's like, she's a little older than me, which I like because they're a little bit further down the road. And I'm kind of like, always wanting to see what's ahead a little bit. And I'm somebody who really listens to older people. Like when they say stuff, I think that's gold. And then I have some other friends who are just really fucking like crazy. Like they're so spiritual and they're extremely spiritual, but they're crazy. And sometimes I need those people around me because they make me feel so normal.
So again, Lana and I become sort of obsessed with you just mentioned older women because they kind of know where it's at, right? So one very famous older woman who is a celebrity, but we really appreciate what she's saying these days, especially on friendships, is Jane Fonda.
Oh
So
yeah,
I don't
love
know if
her.
you've heard any of
I
these
like her.
quotes, right? Right? She's been great. So I want to read you something, and then you can react, and you can sort of give us your feelings on it. Okay. So she said, women sit facing each other eye to eye and they say, I'm in trouble. I need you. Can you help me? We're not afraid of being vulnerable. Quality friendships can boost a person's sense of well-being and happiness, improve self-confidence, and that in turn helps them cope with stress and lots of the other benefits that come with it.
I think that some of the stuff that I do comes from some hurt in my life. You know what I mean? And so I make up for it by being present with other people. It's my thing, right? That's how I was born and I was raised, and now it's turned me into a I really care about my friends and I really care about what everybody else is doing, maybe to my detriment, but I think that all of my friends so far think, that I'm a really true friend to them. I think it's important that we build each other up and continue the communication, the love, the help.
So I want to touch on one more thing that I know about. I'm not going to give away locations, but I know that you and your husband and your family, found a place where you like to go in your summers, and you really have built up that community. Can you talk a little bit about that discovery and your decision to bring people into that community to kind of cultivate this, a group?
Well, we bought this land a long time ago, and I was still in my modeling head, where I was like, what am I doing here? I should be at P. Diddy's house having a white party. And I thought, well, if I can't go to the party, then the party's got to come here. And so I started inviting friends to come to the little cabin that we were staying at, and we would make it quite fun. And then people were like, oh, can I come again? And you're like, oh, okay, great. And then I built a sauna, and then we got a bigger house, and then we built a bigger place. And then for the last 5 years, I've been hosting, up to 15 people at a time at our place. And we basically wake up and do sport. We have volleyball games, we have tennis games, we go running, we go mountain biking. Then we get on the boats at 2:00 and we go into Desolation Sound and we water ski and we flight board until 8:00 at night. And we come home and we all make dinner together and we go to bed at 1:00 in the morning, and then we start up again and repeat. So we have we have a camp basically. And I have all of my friends from my whole life that come every summer, and we celebrate together.
I love that though. Now, obviously you're talking about something that, a certain group of people can do. But I think the extension of that, when I heard about that, was, you can get friends together, and, if you live in Canada, if you live in the States, there's places you can go camping. You can, everybody jump in their car, get your tent,
you have to have that
go out and do
wild thing in you. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you have to, it's there. You just got to go and do it. And you're like, oh, it's raining. Okay. This is going to be even more fun.
Well, in New York, we're certainly not going camping, but I am going out dancing on Friday. And that's what I've started. I do. I'm going out to, it's like a little club thing, and go. And we always used to do that, me and my girlfriends. And then COVID kind of ended that, but once a month, whatever, we literally go to the club and go dancing and in our 50s, we don't care.
As we get older, I think we have to wear less makeup. Okay. And do crazy things again.
So I don't know what your son's like, but certainly my kids think me doing anything at this age is completely crazy. So I go with my daughter. Not so much to going out dancing, but so we go to the beach. This is last summer. It's New York, right? It's Rockaway. Whatever. When you go further off of Rockaway, Fort Tilden, there's no lifeguards. So everyone's out there topless, although it is technically legal in New York. They're having whatever. And the further you go, it's like nude beach, right? The further you go, it's nude beach, right? And so, and because there's no lifeguards, there's hardly any people with small kids because there's no lifeguards on that end of the beach. So I'm out there, everybody's topless, and I don't have a lot to show, and that's okay. And so I was like, oh, would you mind? I'm with my daughter. Oh, do you mind if I take my top off? She's like, oh my God, Mom, I don't know why you always have to have an orgy. I was like, okay, everyone here's got their tits out and they're bigger than mine. Mine don't look bad for my age because they're small. But I was like, that's actually not the definition of an orgy. I mean, do you know how that works? I was just like, oh my gosh.
The kids do not implore a wild side in their mothers. They don't want wild from you. They don't. They want secure, and they want you in a box. But you have wild in you, and it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
And you have to.
I have wild in me. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's like the book, where the wild things are. We're all here.
You just have to sometimes trust and let yourself be that young person. And I think it's important to challenge yourself and do things that make you afraid. And, because you feel alive when you have that, you know what I mean? Otherwise we're deadening ourselves every year. It's like we're safer and safer and safer. Yeah. Into a little box.
Well, exactly.
Box. We live in a little box.
I think
with
like
a glass ceiling that we put ourselves in. Okay.
When I was younger, and I remember I was talking to somebody about this, I've always felt people thought I was so strange. You saying my wildness now, and sometimes not wanting to show that to people, because then they are like, oh, this old lady's crazy. But I need to be living my truth because I've dialed it back so much. Taking off my clothes and going skinny dipping, I love doing that. And I can tell you my husband would think I'm so crazy to do that. Like, why would you do that? You're such an exhibitionist.
Do not
that's my freedom.
Wow.
And that's my truth.
Okay. That stuff is what makes me live.
And, going back to the whole friend thing, you got to surround yourself with the people who will let you do the skinny dipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and who,
you want to be with a friend who says, oh yeah, let's go now. Let's go. Yeah. Let's make this happen. This is amazing. And then you do it and you look at each other, you're sharing this amazing wild woman moment. And it's made you feel like the essence of you again.
I love that, the wild woman moment. That's great.
So surround yourself with the people who do that.
Who are fun.
Yeah.
Who are fun. Yeah. You want to go skinny dipping every day? Then fucking make it happen, Lana. Okay? You know what I mean?
At the YMCA around the corner.
What? Yeah. It doesn't matter where it is. Okay? It doesn't matter. I still do my cool plunges.
I'll bail you out. Don't worry. What advice would you give to a younger Angela about Soul Crew and the importance of it?
To be true to who you are and to not let anybody take away your inner knowledge about what makes you happy and how you tick. I think, knowing what I know when I was 20, a lot I would have told myself. Fuck. That's a whole other story. But
that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other episode. I think just getting to know yourself really well, I think is the most important thing, and having a really good, trusting that you're going to make the right decisions and trusting yourself. So I think I would have told myself to trust myself a little bit more. So that's it. I would have been a little bit gentler with myself. And I probably, I just started becoming spiritual, like in my late 20s, like 25, 26. And I probably would have benefited from doing more spiritual work earlier on. Because instead of looking for answers outside of me, I could have looked more inside of me. But that's something that you cultivate as you get older, right? That's not something that right away. He's wearing ski pants. I have to go.
It's been a long time since we danced all night, moving through the lights. It's been a long time. Wanna take you out.
Okay, well, the storm hit again, so here I go. I'm go probably hiking up something cool and do some powder skiing.
So that was nice. I love talking to Angela.
Oh my God, it was so good. And you know what I love? She's always had so much energy and the positivity. And I do love that, her kind of attitude of no matter where you are, there is some way that you can kind of connect and develop and continue this soul crew. Like, get up, go and do, because you only have so much time, and this is how you maintain those connections.
And I would add to that, honestly, we all talk about this kind of bucket list. We all have things we want to do. Find somebody who's going to go skinny dipping with you. Find somebody.
Wait, or go to base camp.
Find somebody who's going to go to Everest Base Camp. That's Lana's.
I don't want to go to the. I don't want to go to the top. I just want to go to the base camp.
Okay, so listen to where we're at, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Follow us on social media, where_we're at. Let us know what you think. Put in a comment. Send us a picture of you and your soul crew. We want to be on this journey together.
I just wanna